Hello, hello.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you? Let me adjust my my joint right here.
There
How
we
you
are.
doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We super appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I've been wanting to be on here for a while now.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you because we're fans of yours for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, while we have your ear, can we jump right into it with you?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So now you star as Calvin Rodney in Tyler Perry's Sistas.
Yeah.
Okay, phenomenal series. Right now, your character is courting Sabrina, who is played by the gorgeous Novi Brown. Love
Yeah.
her. So
Yeah, she's
talented.
good.
So talented. Now, Calvin has been received with a lot of skepticism,
Mm.
I guess you could say, to put it nicely,
Yeah.
uh, because of the qualities that just make him so unique. He's
Mm.
very unique, very quirky. He really does march to the beat of his own drum.
Absolutely.
Was it ever a concern of yours taking on the role of someone like Calvin?
Um, if you would have asked me that like maybe 5 years ago,
Yeah,
yeah. But I always say like there are actors and there are artists. There's actors who do things that are very well. They can tell a story very well. But to take yourself out of your comfort zone and to embody something that is totally not you, you have to dive in. And I always said when I was first starting out, I used to get the take your shirt off roles. You know, it's just we don't care what you're saying, what you're
right.
talking about. You just, you look nice on camera, show your abs, do whatever.
Yeah,
And I realized I'm not 25 anymore. You got to take roles that challenge you and, people can relate to or people can grow with you, no matter how many seasons we get of the show. And I felt like I should take this opportunity to branch out and step outside my comfort zone. And I'm grateful that I did.
yeah. I do think your character is being well received, but
Mm-hmm.
he's very interesting. And I saw that you recently made a tweet
Mm-hmm.
about just being your age and being just kind of newly on the market. And I really feel like with this role, that's going to kind of introduce you to a new market of people. I won't even say women, just
Mm-hmm.
people in general. So
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that you're stepping out and doing something different,
Well, yeah.
unexpected.
Yeah, I feel like you can't play safe all the time because, as any actor knows, safe is boring.
Yeah,
It's like you can be cute on camera for only so long. Like that's to get your attention. But
right.
if you don't have any substance or anything to say, people check out. They're like, "Oh, that was cool, season one.
Yeah.
What you gonna do season two? Like, what is there?" And that's so dope. What's so dope about Tyler is that he ups the stakes every episode, every season. So, I mean, God willing, we get greenlit for this season three. I'm anxious to see where he's going to take all these characters. And yeah,
That's exciting. So, what do you think is the biggest misconception about your character?
misconception that he's not manly.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, he's not manly. I think that especially in the black community, as young boys, we're taught don't do that. Like if you see your son playing with like his sister's Barbie doll, you're so quick to snatch it away
Yeah,
and say, "Don't do that." And then you give the label, "Oh, that's gay," and it's like what? Like and we're so quick to do that, and I feel like it comes from a long line of hurt and people trying to take away black men's masculinity, but at the same time it's okay to be you. It's okay to be you. If you have, you wear something, someone's so quick because we don't understand something, we're quick to slap a label on it. Oh, well, and not only that, we're not willing to take the necessary measures to find out why this person is this way. We
right.
just automatically say, "Oh, he ain't manly. He's suspect. He's this, he's that, or she's this, she's that." And I think the thing is, he Calvin was raised by two gay men,
Yeah.
and they did the best they could, not only gay men but gay white men. So Calvin is like in this whole nother, being brought up in that environment. They just did the best they could. You know, they definitely couldn't tell him about being a black man in society,
Right.
and they couldn't tell him about being a straight man. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
you know, and for me playing the character on the outside looking in, I think his parents did a amazing job. I mean, come on now, he's owns his own business. He wants to be monogamous. You know, he is compassionate. He's a gentleman. All these things, I always say that he's everything like women would want on paper. Educated, not a bunch of kids running around, and you know, never been in jail and all these things. But it's like one or two little hangups that'll make you, I don't know. And as we saw on this, as we see in this season, the second season, Sabrina's on the fence. She's like, he's everything, but I don't think he's what I want. It's like, you know, so it's playing Calvin is a great conversation piece, because I get so many DMs and so many messages like, you were the conversation at our women's group. Like, what will you allow? What won't you allow? What do you find interesting? And I think that Calvin, like I said, he's just a perfect conversation piece amongst men and women.
Wow, I have to agree 100%. Speaking of, or just kind of piggybacking off of what you were just saying, did you purposefully go after this role because of, you know, how unique your character was, or because of the fact that he was so different than what black people are used to seeing in a black man?
You know what's funny? When I first got the call back, it was in Atlanta, here in Atlanta, and it was so many people. Like, so many people made this call back, like beautiful, brilliant actors that I've seen on shows, movies, and everybody's reading for all these different characters. And I'm like, you know, in these groups, you'll ask each other, you want to run lines before I go in, and try to help each other out.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, well, I'm reading for Gary, and I'm reading for, and also they were auditioning the Oval as well. So everybody's auditioning for multiple characters. I'm in there auditioning just for Calvin. Like, I didn't have other opportunities. I'm like, if I don't get this, then, you know, at least if somebody else is reading for Gary or Aaron or, you know, Maurice, they got multiple shots. I only have one. So it was so crazy. But I didn't know. I think I read, it was just the sides that they gave us. And I'm like, all right. And then once I booked it, it was like, Tyler was text me and he's like, what do you know about this character? And of course, I have all these ideas and this, I give a backstory, and I always do that to characters and he was like, okay, interesting. Okay, like 40% of that is true, but then he gave me the breakdown, and I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. We could play with this. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I can't keep playing these hero type roles. Those get boring. You know, those, like The Dark Knight. Everybody remembers Heath Ledger's Joker, and you barely remember Batman. You know, right. So this character was like, okay, you know, let's explore. Because I didn't even know this kind of man existed, honestly. Like, you know, as a straight man, living in Atlanta, I kind of knew, okay, they're heterosexual, there's bi, there's metro, and all these other things. But to really find out that there are men like this, like, and they've reached out to me and was like, well, yo, I appreciate you telling my story. And that's one good thing that you want to have as an artist, because you're giving a voice to the voiceless. You know, it's like, oh man, I was dating this girl and maybe I like something that's, you know, she's not into. And the first thing she wanted to do was label me. And to see your character portrayed on screen is like, wow, that's like talking to me. Or women who will be like, I had a situation like this and I was so quick to judge. And you've kind of made me change my mindset a little bit, or be more open-minded. So I feel like Calvin is doing a great service on the show and in real life.
That is beautiful. Honestly, You know, thank you for sharing that with us, being so transparent about your character, because you're right. I mean, a character like yours, it really does open up so many doors for Black men such as
Right.
Calvin. I mean, and like you said, a lot of people didn't even realize Black men like this existed. Like, they are here, and you represent them so well, and there's just nothing wrong with that. We have to stop labeling people and being so quick to stereotype. Your
Thank you.
character is the perfect example of that.
Thank you. And I mean, especially like people who don't live in a city like Atlanta. You know, I see the tweets. I see, well, you know, I tweet with everybody, so I see the tweets, and they're like, oh, my sisters are here. So I see the tweets, and people are like, that's not real. I'm like, have you been to Atlanta? And these are people tweeting from like Idaho or Wyoming or something, even back home in Indiana, like where I'm from. They're like, is this real? I'm like, come to Atlanta. Like, there's a lot of things. LA, Miami, DC, like all these major cities, and especially the dating scene in Atlanta. Because, you know, here in Atlanta, the men outnumber the women. I don't even know the number. It's crazy. So, you know, so that's why Sistas it's almost like Atlanta is its own character inside of the show because of the dating. It's like, when you're a 30-something successful woman, like all the women on Sistas are, you have everything. You have the crib, you have the car, you have the money. But I don't have that idea of that family, that man, that this, i.e. why Andy messes with a married man, and Mignon or Danny is in her situation, and Karen's in her situation, and Novi's in hers. So it's like, do I settle because I know I deserve more, or do I, because the, you know, that clock, you know, I understand that clock is ticking. So so it's like, that's a whole nother character being in Atlanta, being that the show is based in Atlanta, that a lot of people don't understand. So we kind of give you a glimpse of what it is to date in Atlanta. It's some good, some bad, just like every city, but Atlanta specifically because of the ratio.
All right, sounds like I need to make a trip to Atlanta.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Ratio.
I'm saying, like, we outnumber women, but you get some you don't know what you're gonna get. It's that mystery pack of Skittles. You don't know what you're gonna get. So
not the mystery pack of Skittles. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. But the ratio got me thinking. Okay. All right, so speaking of Calvin, what would you like to see for Calvin's future? What would you like to see?
Oh man, if Calvin, well, I already explained, like, Calvin is a real person, but if Calvin really was like a real person who existed in society, I would want to see him happy. I would want to see him like fully able to be his full self. And he is to a certain degree, but with the whole situation with Sabrina, it's kind of like, okay, I gave you my heart, I opened up, and you keep doing this stuff. So I'm kind of closed off, like we all do. But for the show, you know, drama keeps us in business. So I kind of want to see some more mess, just so
that's real.
The character can stay relevant. But I would love to see him, you know, happy. If it's with Sabrina, cool. And I really want to find out, what is it about Sabrina that has him just so enthralled, like, just so, I'll give you another chance. I'll give you, and plus you got to realize he's going through his father passing away. He got judged by her. She tried to set him up. And as you know, I'm anxious to find out if and when he finds out about this drug test that Sabrina and Maurice have concocted up. So, you know, I'm anxious to see that. Definitely more drama, but some peace in there as well.
Okay, I like that. That's completely honest, because I would love to see a little bit more mess. Knowing Tyler, I'm sure we're gonna get some.
Oh, I believe he's cooking something. He's cooking up something.
All right, so now let's switch gears a little bit here.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of your earlier work.
Okay.
Yeah. So how were you introduced to your first project? If you can remember and think back to your first major project, how were you introduced to it? And
My
what was
first
it?
major project. Ah, man. I always say there's two. My first ever speaking role on television was a show called Drop Dead Diva.
I love that
Yeah,
show.
yeah. I played. I was in one episode. I played an FBI agent. I think I was FBI agent number 3.
How interesting.
And
Let's go
yeah,
back now and look for you.
yeah. Oh, if you blink, you might be like, I had a low haircut. I mean, yeah, but my line was, "Yes, sir," and then I just walk off.
Oh,
That was it. But
I'm
it,
still looking for you.
yeah, yeah, no, that's cool. But my major, like, if you want to say, uh, a breakout or something that really introduced me to the world would be the play Tyler Perry's Laughter Key from Crying.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
I tell this story all the time. I'll try to make it quick, but I auditioned, and I come from theater, so I was I was like, this was my house. This was like my wheelhouse. But I didn't get the role originally. They actually gave it to my friend, a buddy I had modeled with here in Atlanta. And maybe 2 weeks later, I get a call saying from Mark Swinton, who is the executive producer of Tyler Perry Studios. He calls and says, "Yo, I just want to see if you want to come to watch our rehearsal." And I had been drinking out with my roommate at the time. I was like, "Yeah," I sobered up real quick. I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there." Went
Right
out there. Yeah, right away. So I go out there, and they were rehearsing. And when they do their rehearsals, it's like a full show. You might as well be watching a full production. And I'm sitting there, and while they're doing their thing, and Mark's assistant comes up to me and gives me the script and says, "Yeah, Mark just wants you to look over the role of Donnie." And I was like, "All right." So I'm like watching the show, reading, watching. After it's done, Mark comes over. He's like, "How'd you like the show?" And I was like, "I loved it. Thank you for having me." Because the most I'm thinking is maybe I'll be an understudy to
Right.
somebody. He was like, "Do you think you can do it better?" And I'm like, I'm a real, like, I don't like talking about people's work because that's your work. You never
Right.
apologize for
Of
your work.
course.
And so I'm like, I give this PC answer, like, I don't really like talking about people's work because art is interpretive and yeah. And he's like, "Okay, all right." And he was like, "Just go to lunch go to dinner with the cast." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Well, you done messed up this opportunity."
Oh,
Oh man. So I go to dinner. I eat by myself because no one knew who I was, and I'm just like, oh. and
oh
so,
no.
and so I come back into the rehearsal space, and there's nobody there. And so his assistant comes up to me and says, "Mark wants to see you, and can you bring your script?" And I played football in college, and I understand when the coach tells you to bring your playbook, you're cut from the team. So I'm already thinking like, man, I'm done. So I come in this room, and he was like, "Can you close the door?" I'm like, "Sure." And it's him, Cheryl Pepsi Riley, and Palmer Williams in the room. And they were like, "Yeah, we didn't want to do that in front of, so and so, because it can mess up an actor's confidence if they see somebody else." I said, "Okay." He was like, "We want you to do the scene with Cheryl and Palmer." I was like, "No problem." So I put my script down, and he's like, "No, no, 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 no. You can use your script." And I was like, "I don't need it." And he was like, "You mean to tell me you memorized a whole play just from watching it?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I get up and I do the
Interesting.
scene. Yeah, I do the scene. Palmer is quiet. Palmer says, "All right, see you
Okay.
on Monday." And he leaves. And I'm like, "What the hell does that mean? What does that mean?" And so I go back out into the rehearsal space. Mark announces to the cast, he's like, "We're going to run through it again. And I'm going to just put this is Anthony. I'm going to put him up as the role of Donnie." And so I get up and I put my script down. And you just heard like people mumbling, like, "He ain't going with no script. He ain't got no script. Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah." And I go and do the scene, and you could hear a pin drop. Like, it was dead quiet. So I go back to sit down, and my boy is behind me, and I can't even look at him because I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know
Oh
why they put me
gosh.
up. I look back, he's like giving everybody hugs and giving him his business cards and stuff. And I'm like, and so he leaves. Excuse me, he leaves. And so Mark tells everybody, he's like, look, I don't want to keep y'all here all night. Y'all been here all day, but I just want to let you all know I'm extending, so-and-so will no longer be with playing the role of Donnie. I'm extending the role to Anthony. He's going to be playing Donnie. And he looked at me, he said, we open, this is on a Saturday. He said, we open on Tuesday. You got some work to do. Now, opening, meaning that we are doing 2 live shows at Cobb Energy Arena in front of a live audience, and it's being taped for DVD. And so I did 2 shows in that amount of time. And, you know, that was my like introduction to the world. Because when the DVD came out, it was like, oh, that's Officer Donnie. And even, you know, yeah. So it was just crazy, you know.
Wow. Okay, that's hilarious. I mean, I'm not, no shade towards your friend. Sure, he did a great job, but I mean, obviously the role was meant for you. But wow, what an interesting story on how you got your start, and what a start that was.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I remember when I was living in Indianapolis back home, I actually spoke into existence that I was going to work with Tyler. I was teaching at my old high school, and Tyler used to do these. I was back home from college, teaching, wasn't making that much money. And I was like, at first I was like, I got to go to LA because that's what everybody goes. Oh, LA that's where movies and television are made. And I had just come from with a theater degree. And I was doing laundry in my room, and Tyler was, every time he had a movie come out, he would do his own talk show and interview the cast. And I'm not paying attention. It's just on TV, and I'm folding clothes and everything. And he was like, hey, and I'm in my room by myself, and I'm like, I'm talking to you out there. He said, if you ever have a dream, go after it. I don't care how stupid it sounds to someone else. You can do it. I'm a living testament. And it was like a trance took over me. And I went next door to my mother's room, knocked on her door, came in, and I was like, I'm moving to Atlanta, and I'm going to work with Tyler Perry. And I walked out just like that. And my mom was like, what? Like, and I just prayed for a date on when I should leave, January 2nd, 2010. And maybe 6 months after me moving down here, I got the play.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's phenomenal. That's so encouraging on so many levels. You have no idea. I'm so glad you shared that with us. That's a gem right there. Being able to speak something into existence and then stepping out on faith and making it happen.
Absolutely.
Things together. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
So glad you
nothing
shared
but God. Yeah.
Somebody caught that.
Yeah.
So you did mention that obviously you've worked with Tyler Perry before. I mean, you were part of his play. What has been the most consistent pattern that you've noticed since working for Tyler Perry? You've done plays for Tyler Perry. Now you've been a part of the Sistas cast for quite some time. So between the plays and the television shows, what would you say, again, has been the most consistent pattern that you've noticed about working with Tyler Perry?
That no matter how much success or critical acclaim that he's received, he's not too good to get in there and do the work. Like, he does all our episodes. He directs them, he writes them, produces them, and he's not afraid to move a table or, your collar, let me fix it. Okay. Like, he's in the trenches with us filming, and that says a lot. Like, clearly he doesn't have to do that. Clearly he hires people, but he moves so fast that he's like, I can't wait for, set or a props guy to go get it, and then the table's right there. I'll just get it. Here's your cell phone. Right. So he moves that fast, but no matter what, he's always been like that. Because most people reach a level of success and they're like, I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm Tyler Perry. I don't have to. No, he is. Yeah. I mean, case in point, us shooting season 2, he didn't have to go into production. Like, everything, Hollywood was shut down. We were the first production to go back to filming. So we kind of like, we're part of history. And he
Mhm.
told us, like, this is
Yeah.
important. I could be on my island right now. I could be chilling. But I understand you all have mortgages and house payments and you got kids in school and this, that, and the other. So, it's just a testament to him. Like, he challenges himself no matter what. He when he achieves a goal, he replaces it with another one. And I've learned to actually live by that ever since I first encountered him and met him. And so his work ethic is just like sick. It's like unheard of. So
Yeah.
that's how he's consistent.
Wow. I love that. I mean, to know that Tyler Perry is the hands-on type,
Oh
that
yeah.
is that's phenomenal because that's Tyler Perry. He doesn't have to put his hands on anything at this point.
Right. Absolutely. But he does. And
He does.
that's why he's TP.
TP. Big
Yeah.
TP. I like it. So now you also appeared on the popular network Bounce TV.
Mm.
Bounce, I've been
Yeah.
rocking with Bounce for some
Yeah.
time. Bounce has
Yeah.
kept me warm at nights. Now you also appear on the popular TV drama Saints and Sinners. Now that's a really good one. And that's one of Bounce's highest gross rated television, or not television, series. It's one of its highest rated series. So could you tell us a little bit about your character on the series Saints and Sinner, and then just the dynamic that your character then brings to the show?
Oh man, playing Malik Thompson, Fortune 500 billionaire. Got to work with so many talented people that I looked up to and admired. Clifton Powell, Vanessa Bell Calloway, my homie Demetria McKinney, my sis Dawn Half Kinney. That's like my sister. And getting to work on that cast was amazing. And it just showed another side because at the same time, I had two shows kind of in rotation. I had Tyler Perry's The Pains, which could show my comedic side on Friday nights. And then Sunday night, you saw in a whole different character. And that's what you want as an actor. You want range. You don't want to be typecast into one thing. And it was a blessing. I loved playing that character. I think he added a new dynamic to the show. Unfortunately, I couldn't come back for the fourth season because of other things. But, I still wish that show much success. And I have love for each and every one of those cast members. And also, I love that character. It's one of my favorite characters that I've had the privilege to play.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Such a good one, man. Your character is definitely missed. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Now, you mentioned it just briefly, but Saints and Sinners has a slew of Tyler Perry alumni, such as yourself.
Yeah.
And that's from Vanessa Bell Calloway to Clifton Powell. What was that experience like for you, working with such big names?
You know what's crazy is my career, and this is just something that every person can take. I was only supposed to do a lot of the things that I've booked. I was only supposed to do one episode, and then it just ended up, either they liked me or something happened, and I just got more. From a show called Shots Fired that I did, I was only supposed to be in one episode, ended up being in like 8. The Pains, I was only supposed to be in 6, ended up being in a series regular and got 16. And then this show, I was only supposed to be in 1 because they had a rushed audition. They needed, I guess someone may have fallen out, or they needed to cast the role very fast. And I put myself on tape and I just did it and got the role. Came in there my first day. I'm like half naked in the bed with Vanessa Bell Calloway. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? Like, I'm like, yo, I coming to America and
Come on now.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm about to kiss Vanessa Bell Calloway. And it's just like, yo, yeah, you got to pinch yourself. And I'm like, yo, and then I do a scene with Clifton. And he paid me one of the biggest compliments. And he said, "You're going to be good, man." He was like, you're going to be good because you're not afraid. You're not afraid because, you know, Clifton is a force. Like,
Yes.
talks with that voice and
Yep.
you get up, you know, and you got to go back at him. And he was like, I like you. You're a good sparring partner. And so, yeah, it was amazing working on that show. No, I mean, everybody. And sometimes I'm like, oh man, I could have done so much if I'd have got another crack at it. But you know, God knows better than us. You know, so everything works out for a reason. Yeah, and I'm with Sistas now, so yeah, everything works out in God's time.
Absolutely. Okay, so now let's have some fun with this next question. We're gonna take it.
Okay.
On you. Well,
all right.
I think it's a little easy. If someone were to make a movie about your life, okay, who would you choose to star as you, and why?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No, me.
You
I would want.
I cannot.
I mean,
I'm like waiting for the answer.
No, I think, you know, I feel like you can tell your story better than anyone. You know what I'm saying? Because you live it. No matter who you get as an actor to play, you get the most phenomenal actor to play you. But to get that real, true essence, especially as me being an actor. Now, if I was like a politician or something, and they said, "Who do you want to play you?" I would, you know, oh, grab so and so or this. But as me being an artist, I know me.
Right.
I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of good actors, but there's only one me.
Will Smith.
Will Smith. Yo,
For
like
sure.
I met Will Smith and he's everything that you think he is times 1,000.
Wow.
Like times 1,000. Like everything from everything. And it's so crazy because a friend of mine, a lady who I call like my spiritual advisor, she said, I think you have that Will Smith type thing. You know, that, and you know, this is her words. She said, like, you're goofy, but it's charming, but it's, you know, but you also can take your shirt off and run down the street. You know what I'm saying? And she was saying that. So it's funny you said Will Smith. And I love Will Smith. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Those Will Smith vibes from you.
Yeah, I receive it. I receive it all.
Take it. Now, this is a question that I love so much. And it's about giving each other our flowers, because I think in the face of the pandemic and everything that's been happening this year in 2020, it's so important that we just acknowledge each other and cherish each other, the special bonds and friendships that we have. We need to start recognizing them right now and not waiting until your loved one has maybe passed or, you know, just gone from your life. So if you could think of any person, it doesn't have to be famous, any person that you would want to give your flowers to, who would that person be and why?
My mother. Like, she's the reason why I'm here. During the shooting, like maybe 2 days before we were filming, my father actually passed of cancer, like right before we had to go into the bubble and film. So, you know, you think I'm living here in Atlanta, they're back in Indianapolis. And I think sometimes we take, especially artists, like actors, because we're on this constant grind. We're on this, what's the next project? What's this? And then you get sucked into the quote unquote machine. And you're like, oh, I got to do this because I got to stay relevant in this. And sometimes when you keep your head down, you've achieved all this stuff. And by the time you look back, people have gotten older, people have gotten sick, people have graduated, people have done these things, and you've missed it because you're so tunnel vision. You're so locked in. And when my father passed, it was just like, yo, I had the choice of not going back to film. And everybody, and I have the best cast. And I found out later, they text among themselves and said, yo, if Ant doesn't want to go back and we can't shoot season 2, we got to respect that. And everybody was like, we with it. You know what I'm saying? And so just my father passing let me know my mother, like, she's still here. And so I have to, you know, okay, it's cool, all this stuff, the successful show and, you know, these amazing interviews like I'm doing right now. That's good. but who were you before that? And she is a huge part of why I have the things I have, why, you know, because when you tell somebody you want to be an actor coming from Indianapolis, it's like, you might as well say you want to be a ventriloquist. You're like, what? Like, what? Like, you know, but my mother was like, I don't care what you do. Just give your all to it and put God first, and everything should be able to take care of itself. And a lot of mothers would be like, look, I'm her youngest. A lot of mothers would be like, I don't want you to go. You know, you're my baby. I don't want you to go. But she was like, look, she cried when I moved. We both cried. But she was like, I know, you know, you're going to do great things. And, you know, just that she can get anything she wants. My mother can get, if she says, Anthony, I need you to clear out your bank account, I'm like, it's done. Like, no questions asked, not why or anything. But yeah, you know, if we're talking about anyone who has inspired you to do anything, even if you've never met them, give them their flowers. We lost Chadwick this year. We lost Kobe.
Oh,
you know, we lost a bunch of people, which we I don't want to say we took for granted, you know, because we always think, oh, they're going to be there.
exactly.
No one thought anything about Kobe, like
Absolutely.
passing. What? I thought somebody was playing a joke on me.
Exactly.
Like, get out of here. Kobe Bryant ain't dead. Shut up. Then you look on the news and it's gone.
And
so
true.
yeah, and yeah, I just try to, you know, let people know you love them. You know, just random, like friends or anything. I'll call my boys like, hey, I love you, bro. And of course, there'll be like some asses sometimes. They're like, hey, what you talking about, bro? And I'm like, bro, you got to realize we are living in a time where you don't know. You know, the brother, Carl Anthony Towns, who plays for Minnesota, he lost 7 family members to COVID this year, including his mother. No. He never thought he was going to, have that happen. And so we have to give, just tell people you love them. I mean, you don't have to, make it a whole big production, but at the same time, just let people know you're thinking of them. Let people know that, hey, man, you just crossed my mind. Hey, sis, you just crossed my mind. Hope all is well. Absolutely. And that can also do something for people, their mental health. Because a lot of times we feel like we're alone. We feel like no one cares about us because we're in our thing, they're in their thing. And just for you to reach out and just say, hey, what's up, man? That can go a long way. But yeah, the most is my mother.
Wow, that is absolutely beautiful. Seriously, that really is. And that's probably the person that comes to my mind first too, so I completely understand. But having her be that rock for you, especially in the face of having to deal with your father's passing, I can only imagine how much closer that your relationship must have grown, because of it. And condolences to you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, no, you're good.
Well, that's pretty much all the questions that we have for you this evening.
Oh, you kicking me off?
I gotta tell you, you've been amazing.
Oh, no, I'm just playing.
You've been absolutely amazing. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Like I said, I've been wanting to get on here for a minute. I see a couple of my castmates have come through here. I'm like, hey, yo, I don't want to be left out. I got to come on here too.
Okay. So, we got to get all y'all, okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for so much for supporting the show. Like, we really appreciate it. It's the love we've gotten for the show. And individually, we don't take that lightly. We don't take it in vain. So we really appreciate it. And I've always said there is no show without you all watching and you all tweeting and you all commenting and everything. So, we love y'all and we appreciate each and every tweet, each and every view, and God willing, y'all gonna get us to season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We won't be like the Simpsons.
Okay.
I won't be 80 years old playing Calvin. Like, hey, Sabrina still don't want me.
You know what? I cannot with you. Heck yes. We want to see y'all make it. Absolutely. I love Sistas. We love Sistas at Blacks in Manal. We love all things Tyler Perry. So we got to show support. The support is so real. We loved having you. We got to have you back for sure.
Absolutely.
We got to catch up with you. Absolutely. Next season, we got to see where your character is. Tap back in. Oh, before you go, let us know where we can follow you on social media.
Oh, you can follow me on Instagram at the real Anthony Dalton, and on Twitter, Anthony_Dalton, the number one. So yeah.
Perfect. All right, y'all. And if you're not following Black Cinema Now, make sure that you're following Black Cinema Now, especially after this. And also follow your girl over at H Wood Gems. And until next time, y'all enjoy your evening. Thank you so much, sir. Until next time.
Thank you. Be blessed and be safe.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.